Hi everyone, my name's Faith and today I'm going to tell you the story of the worst final that I have ever taken in my entire life. So this past fall of 2017, it was my last semester at community college. There was one section for my degree that I had to pick a class from. It was a lot of history kind of classes, which I can't fucking stand. And there was this one option that would cover the area that was an ethnic music type of class. So I was talking to my counselor about it and he was explaining a little bit to me the course outline and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, okay, that doesn't sound too difficult. It seems pretty easy. It seems a little bit interesting. So I decided to take that one. The class was a Tuesday night from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Oh, okay, no, sorry. 8:50. I'm not a big fan of night classes. I work, so I don't like to work during the day and then get out of work and then go to school at night and then come home. So it's a 6 to 9 o'clock class, which I mean, it's my only option. They only offer one class. It's this one class once a week. Even though it wasn't the ideal time for me, I didn't really mind because I was like, well, I've taken a few 6 to 9 o'clocks before and they never last the whole time. Very rarely do they go for the whole 3 hours. Usually it's maybe 2 or whatever. It's bearable. It's not a big deal. It's my last semester. It's the last class I need. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. When I tell you guys that every single week, consistently, for the entire semester, we went for a solid 3 hours. I'm not exaggerating. Every class, maybe we would get out 2 minutes early, 3 minutes early, 1 minute early. Sometimes we'd even get out late. Sometimes we wouldn't get out until actual 9 o'clock, which is 10 minutes after the class is supposed to end. Anyways, first of all, we were supposed to get through I think 6 different cultures by the end of the semester. And we ended up getting through 4. If we're being honest, I would really only consider it 2 because the last 2 were kind of taught at the same time and mushed together because he wasted so much time on the first 2 that he didn't have enough time to really get through the last 2. Now, on to the actual story. So finals week comes up. Our final session is same day, Tuesday from 6. This time it actually ends at 9. It's a full 3 hours because it's a final. So the way that the final was supposed to go was we were supposed to get there at 6. We were supposed to do a final review for an hour, which basically he would play a short example of each kind of song and remind us of what it was and what it sounded like and the beat count and this and that. And then we were gonna start the final. It was supposed to take 2.5 hours or something. I can't remember. We get there a little bit early. One of the janitors comes and unlocks the door for us so that we can all go sit down. We go and we sit down. I was talking to the guy that sat behind me and he was like, yeah, do you think we're gonna be here the whole 3 hours? I don't think we're gonna be here the whole 3 hours today. It's a final. You never spend the whole 3 hours on a final. No. I was like, let me tell you exactly what's gonna happen tonight. This man is gonna show up 20 minutes late. He is going to talk about nothing for another 20 minutes. We're gonna do the quick review, and then halfway through the quick review, he's gonna be like, oh yeah, I forgot about this other thing. And then he's gonna lecture us. And then we're gonna finish the review, and then we're gonna take the test, and then we're gonna go home. 6 o'clock hits, no teacher. 6:05 hits, no teacher. 6:10 hits, no teacher. He showed up at 6:15 or 6:13, right before 6:15. And then he spent 15 minutes just like walking around, just like doing dumb shit. He wasn't doing anything. He was going around organizing papers and then going around moving tables and just doing stupid shit for no reason. And we're all just sitting there bruh, it is 6:30. Are we gonna start this fucking test or not? So finally, 6:30, he sits down and is like, hey guys, and we're like, and he again explains okay, we're gonna do the review, and we're gonna do the test, and blah, 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 blah. And we're all just kind of okay, yeah, whatever, can we just Finally, he starts in the review session and he's like, okay, we're gonna start with 12 Bar Blues since we didn't really get into that one that much. And I turned to my friend and I'm like, didn't get into it that much. Literally, the second song that he plays in the review, he says, oh, I forgot about this one. Called it. I turned to my friend and was just like, And he just shook his head at me. He was just like, I can't fucking believe this is happening. I could. So he goes into his little like review thing. He lectures us on some other kind of music that he forgot about. And then we go through the rest of the review. It takes like however, like an hour and a half or an hour, whatever it took. So then finally, he says, okay guys, get out your Scantrons. And we're like, dope, like let's get this shit done and get the hell out of here. So everybody pulls out their Scantrons, pencils, erasers, like takes their books off their desk, moves everything, you know. So we're all sitting there, we're ready, we're like, all right, let's go, like pass this shit out, like let's get it started. This man walks to the whiteboard, takes out a pen, and starts writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. And we're just like, is this man about to write an entire 25 question final on the whiteboard right now? I'm just sitting there in shock at this point. I really feel like after a while, you kind of become numb to certain things, but I don't think anything in my life could have prepared me for a teacher manually writing out our final on the whiteboard 2 hours into our final session. We're all just sitting there like, is he serious? Like, is he really about to do this right now? So finally someone's like, are you gonna write the entire final on the board? And he's like, I'll explain it in a minute. And we're just like, okay. He wrote 5 questions. The first question was the 4 cultures that we had learned: Hawaiian, Hispanic, African, and bagpipes. Or Scottish? No. Irish? I can't remember. The second 3 questions, 2, 3, and 4, all had like a jumbled mix of the different kinds of music or songs. And then the last question, number 5, was the beat counts. It was like 2, 4, 3, 6, and other, I think. So our teacher finishes writing what he's writing, puts the cap on his pen, puts his pen down, turns around and says, okay, I'm gonna explain this the best as I can because it's always hard for students to understand. It's always difficult for students to get the hang of how I do my tests. And I'm like, then why do you still do them that way? He's like, I'm gonna explain this to you guys exactly the way that he explained it to us the first time that he said it. He's like, okay, so basically each song is gonna take up 5 questions. The first question, obviously, you're gonna pick which culture the song's from. For the second question, you're gonna find in the little mix of questions, you're gonna find the right answer. So if the answer is 2 and C, you're gonna go to your Scantron, go to question 2, bubble in number C, skip questions 3 and 4, and then go straight to number 5, fill in the beat count, and then wait for the next song to start. Bitch. What? We were all just sitting there like, what the hell is happening right now? Everybody's like turning and looking at each other. Everybody's talking. Some people are crying. I think there was like a bomb explosion somewhere in the distance. I don't even know. It was a lot. So then the teacher is like, oh, okay, let me explain it again. And he explains it again just as bad as the first time. And then after like, I want to say explanation maybe 3 or 4, and people still not getting it, he got mad at us. He had the nerve, the audacity to get mad at us for not understanding the weird ass way that he decides to execute his exams. Like other teachers do exams that way and we're just supposed to know because like, oh yeah, we do it that way all the time. Like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, everyone takes tests that way. Like, what? Okay, now comes the hard part of the story because now I have to try to actually explain it in a way for you to understand so that you can get the rest of the story. You know what I mean? So again, you have 5 questions. The first question is the different cultures that you have to pick. The middle 3 questions are the jumble of all the different songs, and then the last question is the beat count. Essentially, for each question, like for number 1, the very first song he plays, you'd pick, okay, that's a Hawaiian song, so you'd bubble in Hawaiian. And then you have to listen, and you have to decide what kind of song from Hawaiian culture that he's playing. And then you have to find that song in the mix of the 3 questions. So let's say that it was hula music. And hula is question line 3, answer C. So you would go on the Scantron, you would skip over to you would go to 3 and then bubble in C or whatever the fuck it was, and then you would skip 4 and then you would go to 5 and put like, oh, this is like a 2/4 beat count, or this is a 3/6 beat count, or whatever kind of beat count that it was. And then for the second song, he would erase 1 through 5 and then put 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then question 6 would be like, oh, Hawaiian, African, blah, 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 blah. You would find in 7, 8, 9, find the right answer, bubble that in. And then question 10, you would put the beat count, and so on and so forth and what have you. I'm sorry if I'm not explaining that well. I don't really know how else to explain it, but that's the best that I can do. One of the girls that sits next to me is like, oh, but wait, there's only 3 middle questions and they each have 5 answers. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, that's only 15 songs. And he's like, oh yeah, don't worry about that. Halfway through the final, we're gonna stop and I'm gonna rewrite all the answers and then we're gonna start it again. Why? So not only did he take an extra like half hour to write these things out and then try to explain it to us, but he's gonna take another however long it takes to erase all of that and then rewrite it with new answer choices for the second half of the test. Because you know, that's so much easier than just printing something out and handing it out to all of us and having us do it that way, because who would do it like that? Another thing that was problematic about this design, you couldn't go back and change your answers. So let's say song number 10, you pick, oh, that's North End music. That's an actual kind of music, by the way. I'm not being racist. That was a real answer. You're like, oh, this one's this kind of music, and then later on, question 23, you're like, oh no, I think this one's actually North End music. You can't go back and change it because the answer choices are gone, for one, and for two, you don't remember which song was which number. You know what I mean? So like, if you fuck up, you're just fucked. Like, your entire test is fucked. Like, you better hope you get all of them right the first time. Otherwise, your test is fucked. So anyway, after the initial awestruck reaction of all the students, after everybody cleaned the shit out of their pants and sat down, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Finally started the test. So finally, we finished. The last song plays. We listen to it. There's like a few moments of silence where people are like trying to hear whatever's going on, and we bubble it in. And you guys, when I tell you that I have never in my life seen a group of people leave a room so quickly, that is 100% genuine from my heart. Look up any video of any fire, of any bombing, of any earthquake, of anything. And I promise you, the people in that video that are evacuating the dangerous conditions that they have just been thrown into, I promise you, those people were not running out of that building or room or area as quickly as my co-students and I were running out of this classroom. It was unreal. It was like a stampede of sad little beings just like all rushing, trying to grab all of our stuff, because I really feel like a lot of us felt like it was never gonna end. It seemed like every time you're like, this can't possibly get any worse. He can't possibly make this class any more unorganized, any more boring, any more annoying, any more anything than it already is. And somehow he did. If I didn't have to suffer through that, I'd be really amazed. I'd be a little bit impressed that he could find such a new and innovative way to torture his students. Like, I think everyone can agree that college, just as a whole, like as a system, is set up and designed to make students suffer. Like, I don't think there's really any question behind that. Imagine college is like a torture chamber, right? And you walk in and there's, you know, there's like chainsaws, there's like a fire over here, there's like a guy with a water gun filled with acid and he's like squirting it at you and stuff, and you're walking through and you're like, fuck, this fucking sucks. You get to a point and you're at the end and you're like, bruh, I've been through it all. I've been through quite a bit. This guy, there's not a whole lot this guy can do. And homeboy comes out with the fucking brazen bull and you're like, I didn't even know they still made those. And he's like, huh, you thought. A little piece of my insides is dead in that room. If you walk into that room and go to that chair that I suffered in for months, you can see a little aura from the piece of my soul that's still in that room, that's still suffering, that's still sad in there. Oh, and also we finished late. We finished the test at like 9:05, 9:10. So there was that also. But anyways, that is the story. That's my story. I just wanted you all to hear it. My GoFundMe page will be linked below. No, but in all seriousness, that really was the worst test that I've ever taken. Everybody was so incredibly frustrated. Some people really did look like they were about to cry because they were just so frustrated with how much that we had been through throughout that entire semester. I didn't go into all of it, but like the projects that he had us do and everything, like I could probably do another video just like on the class overall to give you guys a better idea, but this was just supposed to be about the test. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my story. I hope you enjoyed my suffering. I hope if any of you out there are students and are going through a tough period with projects or finals or just anything, I hope that you can watch this and think, wow, my teacher sucks, but at least I'm not Faith. Thank you for watching. Bye.